And welcome back to this week's edition of the Steel Report. And to close out the program today, I want to welcome two nature specialists, two naturalists from the Black Hawk County Conservation Board, here to talk about a real asset in this area, and that, of course, being the Hartman Reserve Nature Center. Katie and Katie are here, Katie Cluse and Katie Canton. And you know, you guys are naturalists, so why don't you tell everybody, Katie Canton, why don't you begin? What does that mean exactly, and how did you choose that profession?
Well, a naturalist is basically like an outdoor teacher. So Katie and I, we teach not just kids, but the general public and all ages about anything nature related. So um, we both have different degrees and different backgrounds, but it's something we both enjoy, and we both have different kind of specialties too. So our main goal here is conservation and education, and all naturalists in the state are kind of the same way too.
We have become, I guess, liaisons between the science world and, everybody else. So that science communication is a huge part of science, and frankly, a huge part of getting people to engage with science on, like, at home, on in their daily lives, because science is all around us and all the time, and so is nature. And so Katie and I are liaisons. So we are the guide for people, especially, not everybody's super comfortable going outside into natural areas or going hiking. Maybe they've never gone hiking before. So we become the liaisons between nature and kind of our urban, very people-oriented world.
Yeah, great way to describe that. I really love that. You know, Hartman Reserve, for people who don't know, and I hope you do know, that it's just a beautiful place, more than 300 acres right here in Black Hawk County. So the official address is 657 Reserve Drive, but it's really easy to find. You just get on Grand Boulevard in Cedar Falls, turn right there on Timber Drive, and that connects with Reserve Drive. Really easy to find. So let me just ask each of you, what are your hometowns and where did you go to school? You said you'd had varying backgrounds as far as degrees. So Katie Canton, why don't you start? What's your hometown and where did you go to school?
Yeah, so I'm a military kid, so I actually lived in Oakland, California, and ended up in Muscatine, Iowa, and basically grew up there. And I went to Muscatine High School.
I see. Okay. Katie, how about you?
I was actually a very urban kid, so I grew up in the middle of Des Moines, and so both my parents came from small town backgrounds, so they both enjoyed the outdoors, so maybe that was part of it. But yeah, and then came to UNI and got the internship and then just never left. So which actually turned out to be a pretty good plan.
You know, I watched recently a 32-minute video actually on the history of the Hartman Reserve Nature Center. It was hosted by Sarah Carter. It pretty much has everything and anything you would ever want to know about the history of the Nature Center.
We've actually been in person since last summer. We've been doing kind of a combination of those two things, a virtual and in person. And so we're usually this time of year really gearing up for Maple Syrup Festival, our annual event. But because of the obvious situation, we are not going to have 2,000 people in one building in 4 hours. So we have decided to do a lot of little events to get people really engaged in that maple syruping, those activities that some families now have done for multiple generations. So we really wanted to continue that. And of course, frankly, I think everybody's sick of being inside. I mean, even us. So it's really nice to go out again.
Yeah, I mean, the reserve is really dedicated. I mean, it even says on your website, and people have known this for years, you're teaching our area youth about nature. You have hands-on experiences. You talk a lot about preservation. And I was told, or I read somewhere, I think it's the largest undisturbed wooded area in all of Black Hawk County. And you have the great wetlands area, the forest, the prairie, and of course the trails. And so Katie Canton, what do you like most about being able to connect with people in the way that you do through the Hartman Reserve Nature Center?
Oh, that's a big question.
Good, I'm glad.
Probably my favorite thing is just seeing when something clicks, and I think a lot of teachers have that with kids too. Ours just, I think, expands, again, not for just kids, but for everyone. When you're talking about something you really enjoy, and then they go, "Oh, like that makes sense, like why we need these natural areas here still in Iowa, especially because we have lots of farm fields and it's really ag heavy, but these places like Hartman are still really important. So that's my favorite thing, is really kind of like look at all these cool places and parks we have that are like right here in our basically our backyard, especially Hartman.
The Hartman Reserve Nature Center is actually run by Blackhawk County, but then under the, I guess, the auspices of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board. Is that the way that works? Is that the best way to describe that, or?
Sure. So, kind of how I usually explain it. So, Hartman Reserve is just one park within under the umbrella of Blackhawk County Conservation. And Blackhawk County Conservation is a department of the county. And actually, all counties in the state of Iowa, we are very unique in here in Iowa. Every county has a conservation department. So it's kind of like a mini DNR in every county. And so Hartman Reserve is just one of the sites underneath kind of that umbrella. So, other things like Hickory Hills Park and like Katie mentioned, Big Woods Campground, Black Hawk Park, those are all some of our bigger properties that fall under Black Hawk County Conservation. So we just happen to not have any camping here, but we're more the education hub.
We work a lot with the schools in the Cedar Valley. Normally around this time or in April, we get every single Waterloo second grader. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like this year we'll get them. But we do have a handful of schools that come out to Hartman or other parks in the county too, like Big Woods. And we can do anything from more like hands-on physical, like kayaking and archery, to things like we'll teach them stream ecology or shelter building and things like that too. So it's a good way for them to kind of get out and see what's in their area, and also goes along with what the teachers are teaching in the school too.
Right now we're into what we have dubbed March Maple Madness. So kind of playing a little bit off the basketball theme, but the Cocktails with Connie is one of the things we're doing. We're also hosting tours through our sugaring house. Also backyard kind of how-tos, like so how to make your own maple syrup in your backyard. We're hosting or we're having other videos. So Connie's also going to be doing a cooking with maple syrup. We're going to be debuting a new series called Timber Tales, which is a great kind of social event where people can come hike with their dogs. And we decided that, we can't have everyone here for, the big maple syrup festival. So let's try to, offer that in a different way. And so we're going to be offering tours every weekend, and then events throughout the week too. There is a lot going on. And one thing is, because of all the COVID stuff, we're going to have to have people sign up. So we can't just like show up kind of like we usually do. So I encourage, go sign up online, get yourself in a tour slot so that way you can come see us this year. We have that going every weekend. We wanted to really give people, a lot of opportunities and a lot of flexibility this year because frankly, it's been a weird year. So we wanted to provide people the most that we possibly could for them this year.
And one of the great things that you'll have as an offering pretty soon here is summer camps, right?
Yes, we are going to be offering. Come on out. We are so ready to see kids because, frankly, we miss them just as much as they miss getting outside and coming to camp and field trips with us. So this summer we are doing summer camps. So and the spots go really fast. So we really encourage folks to sign up ahead. We'll have everything from little squeaks all the way, like 5-year-olds, all the way up to stuff for 17-year-olds. So definitely there's lots of hands-on things. Most of our things are outside, like kayaking and fishing and hiking and, and then pond dipping, all kinds of really cool hands-on stuff. So definitely come join us this summer, and you can find all of our programs. They're updated often. You can find those on our website.
We are also running spring break camps too.
Fantastic. When is that?
So our spring break, I think for a lot of schools in this area, it falls on the week of March 15th. So we have 2 half days, which I've already filled. And then the rest of the week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's for kids ages 10 to 15. And so they're theme days. And again, like Katie said, they're going to be all on the website, and registration is required for those too. But we're going to do stuff like one of the days is about like animal husbandry. Another day is about like animal decay, so dissection. And we're going to have a turkey vulture, a live turkey vulture, which will be really cool. So again, there's not a lot of spring break things that are going on, but we are offering spring break this year. So.
Well, you guys are going to be very busy, and I'm glad to hear that very much. Katie Cluse, Katie Canton of the Blackhawk County Conservation Board, and of course overseeing the Hartman Reserve Nature Center. Thanks so much for what you do and taking time to be on the program today. Well, that's it for this week on the Steel Report. Thanks to all my guests for taking the time to be on Zoom this week with us. Hopefully we'll be coming off Zoom here in a few weeks and do some in-person interviews. Also a reminder, all of our shows are on the kwwl.com homepage. Just find the Watch tab, head on down to the Steel Report. There are all of our recent shows just for your viewing. That's it for this week. Join us next week on the next edition of the Steel Report.